I'm not gonna lie. This Sean Gathright courtroom clip is one of those videos where you click it thinking it's just a normal legal update, and 30 seconds later, you're watching a prosecutor turn the witness stand into a hibachi grill.
See, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago, I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Gathright gets up there during the penalty phase of the Julio Foolio murder trial, trying to sound remorseful. He's saying he's here to be a man. He's here to take responsibility. He's talking about how he feels now. And then the lawyer basically says, okay, cool speech. But was the gun still warm? Was it still smoking? Bro. That question had villain aura. Even the court reporter probably stopped typing like, damn, he's cooking. So for context, Julio Foolio, real name Charles Jones, was killed in Tampa while celebrating his birthday. Prosecutors said this wasn't random. They said it was a planned ambush tied to a Jacksonville gang rivalry, and Sean Gathright was one of the men convicted. Now they're in the penalty phase, which means this is not just about guilt anymore. This is about whether the jury recommends life or death. So now, naturally, everybody is talking about remorse. And that's where it gets uncomfortable, because Gathright starts speaking like a man who understands the weight of what happened. And look, I'm not God. I can't open somebody's chest and check if the remorse is real, or if it spawned in after the sentencing phase loaded. Maybe he really does feel it. But the prosecutor's point was simple. Where was this version of you when it mattered? Where was "I'm here to be a man" before the ambush? Where was the accountability when the gun came out? Where was the spiritual awakening before the consequences showed up? Because it's one thing to find God, it's another thing to find God after the state finds you. That's why the "was the gun warm" question hit so hard. It cut through the whole performance. Gathright wanted the conversation to stay in the present, how he feels now, who he is now, what he regrets now. And the prosecutor was basically like, nah, we're not doing Courtroom Rebrand Season 1, Episode 1. We're going back to the moment. Everybody wants to be judged by the version of themselves that shows up after they get caught. But the court is interested in who you were when nobody thought judgment was coming. Once the prosecutor said, was it still warm? The whole remorse speech started sounding different. It's like when someone cheats, gets exposed, then suddenly becomes a poet. I just want to heal. Brother, 20 minutes ago you were texting "you up" with elite level hand speed. Were you healing then? Or did the healing begin after the screenshots hit the group chat? Same energy. And this is what a lot of young dudes need to understand. Consequences are not automatically character development. They can lead to character development. Sometimes pain really does wake people up, but sometimes a person doesn't become wise. They just run out of options. That's the scary part with street culture, drill culture, and internet beef. Everything looks cinematic until real life walks in. The music makes it sound legendary. The comments gas it up. The Instagram stories make everybody feel like the main character. The homies are laughing. The ops are watching. Everybody's trying to prove they're not sweet. And then boom. Now you're in a courtroom wearing that sad beige jail fit, talking about responsibility, while a prosecutor asks if the gun was still hot like he's checking a steak at Texas Roadhouse. Medium rare murder weapon, Your Honor. It's insane. And I get why people online are treating the clip like entertainment, because the prosecutor really did cook. That line was built for TikTok. That was Law & Order Jacksonville DLC. But under the entertainment, somebody died. Julio Foolio wasn't just a rapper people argued about online. He was a real person. He had family. He had people who loved him. And now multiple young men may never see freedom again. For what? Respect? Revenge? A scoreboard that nobody actually wins? Now again, I'm not saying remorse can't be real after the fact. I believe people can wake up in the worst moment of their life and finally see clearly. But the dead don't get to participate in your growth arc. That's the line. The dead don't get to participate in your growth arc. You can become a philosopher in prison. You can pray every morning. You can read every book. You can journal until the pen files a complaint. Maybe that changes your soul, but it doesn't undo what happened. That's why the prosecutor's question worked. It forced everyone to stop looking at the apology and look at the action, because remorse in court can start sounding like PR. What y'all think about this? Hit that like button and sub. I'll be back. Peace.